Good afternoon, dear friend. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to talk about something that touches many lives, especially as we grow older. We're going to talk about living alone after 80, what it feels like, how it changes us, and most importantly, how to live with peace, purpose, and joy even when you're on your own. You may have lived alone for years, or maybe this is new for you. Maybe you've lost a spouse. Maybe your children moved away. Maybe life simply brought you to this moment where it's just you, your memories, and the quiet rhythm of daily life. And while living alone can offer freedom, independence, and space to reflect, it can also bring loneliness, silence that feels heavy, and days that stretch long without company. Today, we'll explore all of that, not with fear, but with honesty, care, and hope. Because living alone doesn't mean living lonely. It means learning to be your own best companion. Let's begin. The quiet that comes with age. There was a time when your home was full of sound. The voices of loved ones. The laughter of children. The comforting presence of someone who knew your habits, your moods, your needs. But now, the house echoes differently. You wake up to an empty kitchen. You sit down to dinner alone. You go to bed knowing no one will say goodnight beside you. This kind of quiet can feel peaceful at first, like a well-earned pause in a busy life. But over time, that silence can turn into something else. Something heavier. Something lonelier. And if you're not careful, loneliness can settle in, quietly, gently, until it becomes a part of your everyday life. But please remember, being alone doesn't have to mean feeling lonely. And living alone doesn't have to mean living without joy. It just means learning to create connection in different ways. You are not forgotten. One of the hardest parts of living alone is the feeling that you're fading from the world. You might wonder, do people still think of me? Does anyone miss my voice? Am I becoming invisible? These thoughts are normal. They come from a place of longing, for love, for conversation, for belonging. But let me tell you something important, you are not forgotten. Even if visits are rare. Even if calls come only once a month. Even if the world seems to move faster than your pace. You are seen. You are remembered. You are loved, even in the spaces between contact. And sometimes, the way we stay connected has to change. Maybe it's through letters instead of visits. Maybe it's through phone calls instead of face-to-face conversations. Maybe it's through small gestures, a neighbor checking in, a church member remembering your name. Connection doesn't always look the same. But it's still there, if we know where to look. Letting go of what used to be. When you live alone after 80, you often carry memories of a life that was once fuller. A life filled with family meals, shared routines, and the comfort of knowing someone would always be there. And letting go of that, adjusting to life without that constant presence, can be one of the hardest things you ever do. Grief isn't just for death. It's for change. For loss of roles. For missing what used to be. So if you find yourself mourning the past, know that it's okay. You don't have to pretend everything is fine if it isn't. You don't have to smile through sadness just because others expect you to. Give yourself permission to feel. To miss. To cry. To wish things were different. And then, when you're ready, allow yourself to build something new. Because your story isn't over. It's just turning a page. Creating a new rhythm. Living alone doesn't mean living without structure. In fact, creating a new rhythm, a daily routine that brings you peace, is one of the most powerful things you can do. Start with small rituals. Wake up at the same time each morning. Brew a cup of tea before the day begins. Light a candle, open a window, listen to birdsong. Write a few words in a journal, not to share, but to understand yourself better. These simple acts give your day shape. They remind you that you still matter, even if the world forgets to show it. Your morning coffee matters. Your walk around the block matters. Your favorite book matters. And so do you. So build a rhythm that honors your body, your spirit, and your need for peace. And in that rhythm, you'll start to find joy again, learning to enjoy your own company. Living alone gives you something rare, time to truly get to know yourself. And that can be both beautiful and uncomfortable. At first, solitude may feel like isolation. But with time, it can become a gift. You learn to enjoy your own company. You rediscover what makes you laugh. You notice things you hadn't paid attention to before. Maybe you find joy in cooking, even if it's just for one. Maybe you fall in love with old movies again. Maybe you finally pick up that instrument you once played. Maybe you start writing letters to people you haven't spoken to in years. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means having space to breathe, to reflect, to choose what fills your heart. And when you learn to enjoy your own company, you'll find that loneliness fades. Because the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself, building meaningful connections. Even if you live alone, you don't have to live in isolation. Connection comes in many forms, and finding them is key to staying emotionally healthy. Consider these gentle ways to stay connected. Join a local senior center. Attend community events or religious services. Volunteer, even if just once a week. Take classes, art, music, computer skills, gardening. Call a friend regularly. Write letters to people you care about. Technology can help too. If you're comfortable with it, try using video calls to see loved ones. Join online communities for seniors. Watch live streams or participate in virtual groups. Connection doesn't have to be loud or frequent. It just needs to be real. And even small moments, a kind word from a shopkeeper, a smile from a neighbor, a weekly call from a niece or nephew, can fill your heart more than you realize. Staying close to family from a distance. Family is still part of your life, even if they live far away. Sometimes, distance creates silence. Sometimes, it creates misunderstanding. Sometimes, it simply happens because life pulls people apart. But that doesn't mean love ends. It just takes a different form. Make an effort to stay in touch, even if it's just once a week. Write cards. Send photos. Share stories. Ask questions. Show interest in their lives. And if they don't reach out as often as you'd like, try not to take it personally. They may be overwhelmed. They may not know how to connect. They may not realize how much you need to hear their voice. But don't stop trying. Because love is worth the effort, even when it's hard. Finding friends who understand. As we age, friendships change. Some friends pass away. Some move away. Some lose touch. And suddenly, the circle of people who truly get you feels smaller. But new friendships are still possible, even at 80. You can meet people at community centers, church or spiritual gatherings, walking clubs, art or music groups, book clubs, cooking classes, even grocery stores, where a familiar face can become a trusted one. Don't wait for friendship to come to you. Reach out. Say hello. Offer kindness. Sometimes, a simple gesture, a compliment, a question, a shared laugh, is all it takes to start a meaningful connection. And once you find those connections, hold on to them. Because friendship is one of the greatest gifts of later life, rediscovering old passions. Living alone gives you the chance to return to the things you once loved, but set aside for life's responsibilities. Did you used to paint? Did you enjoy gardening? Were you passionate about music or poetry? Now is the perfect time to revisit those passions and discover new ones. Learning something new keeps your mind sharp and your heart engaged. Take a course, even online. Try a new hobby, no matter how small. Read books that inspire you. Listen to podcasts that make you think. Use this time to grow, not just older, but wiser. Because aging doesn't mean slowing down completely. It means shifting toward what truly feeds your soul, caring for your mental health. Loneliness affects more than just your mood, it can affect your health. Studies show that chronic loneliness increases the risk of depression, memory decline, and even physical illness. That's why caring for your mental health is just as important as caring for your body. Here are some gentle ways to protect your mind. Keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down one thing you're thankful for. Practice deep breathing or meditation. Just 5 minutes a day can calm your nervous system. Get sunlight every morning. It helps regulate your sleep and lifts your spirits. Talk to someone, whether a friend, a counselor, or a faith leader. Don't keep pain locked inside. Your mental health matters, and taking care of it is one of the strongest things you can do. Embracing stillness without sinking into sadness. Living alone means learning to embrace stillness. And that can be a beautiful thing if you approach it with intention. Stillness lets you reflect. It lets you listen, not just to the world, but to yourself. But if you're not careful, stillness can turn into stagnation. So balance is essential. Find moments of movement, even if it's just walking around the house or doing seated stretches. Find moments of creativity, painting, writing, cooking. Find moments of connection, even if it's just a phone call. Stillness should be a refuge, not a trap. And when you use it wisely, it can become a source of peace, not sorrow, making your home a place of comfort. Your home is your sanctuary, and making it feel welcoming is crucial. Decorate with items that bring you joy, photographs, plants, soft blankets, favorite books. Play music that reminds you of happy times. Keep a chair by the window where you can watch the world go by. Have a cozy corner where you can read, sip tea, and rest. Create a space that reflects who you are, not just what's left of your life. And don't hesitate to ask for help if moving around the house becomes difficult. Simple modifications, like grab bars in the bathroom, better lighting, or a medical alert system, can help you live safely and independently for longer. Your home should support you, not burden you. And with care, it can remain a place of warmth, not worry. Moving your body, even gently. Staying physically active is one of the best ways to avoid loneliness, even if you live alone. Movement releases endorphins, the body's natural mood boosters. So even if you can't run or jump anymore, there's still so much you can do. Try gentle stretching, chair yoga, slow walks around the house, or neighborhood light weightlifting with soup cans, dancing. Yes, dancing. Even sitting in a chair, swaying to music counts. Physical movement keeps your body strong and your mind bright. And when your body feels better, your heart follows. So don't underestimate the power of movement, even if it's small. Nourishing your body with love. Food is more than fuel, it's care. And when you live alone, mealtime can feel lonely. But food can also be a source of comfort, creativity, and self-love. Cooking for one doesn't have to feel sad. Make it special, set the table, even if you're eating alone. Use nice dishes. Play soft music while you eat. Try new recipes, challenge yourself to cook something you've never made before. Invite someone over, even for a cup of tea. And if cooking becomes difficult, consider preparing meals in advance or using delivery services that offer balanced, nutritious options. Because nourishing your body is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself, especially when you live alone. Using technology to stay connected. Many seniors hesitate to use technology, and that's understandable. But technology, when used thoughtfully, can be a lifeline. Video calls with family. Messaging apps to send a quick note. Online groups for seniors. Games or puzzles to keep your brain active. Spiritual services or concerts streamed to your living room. All of this can help you feel less alone, even from a distance. If you're not sure where to start, ask a younger relative to teach you. Or join a free class offered by your local library or senior center. Once you learn the basics, you'll find a whole world opens up and loneliness begins to fade. Because connection is closer than you think. Even if it's through a screen. Nature as a companion. Nature is one of the most faithful companions you can have, especially when you live alone. Sitting outside, watching birds, feeling the sun, these simple joys can bring a deep sense of peace. If you can, spend time outdoors every day, even if just for a few minutes. Walk slowly through a garden. Sit on a bench and watch the clouds. Feel the wind. Smell the flowers. Nature doesn't speak in words, but it speaks in presence. And sometimes, that's exactly what your heart needs. Reading, a door to many worlds. Books are a quiet escape and a powerful way to stay engaged with life. Whether it's fiction that carries you away, nonfiction that teaches you something new, or memoirs that remind you you're not alone, reading keeps your mind awake and your spirit curious. Visit your local library. Many offer large print books and audiobooks. Join a book club, even online. Ask a librarian for recommendations based on what you've loved before. Reading is more than entertainment. It's connection. It's growth. It's company in the quiet. And it's one of the simplest, most joyful ways to fill your alone time with meaning, expressing yourself through creativity. Creativity is a gift that grows with age. Paint. Draw. Write poetry. Sing. Knit. Bake. Garden. Whatever moves your hands and soothes your heart, do it. Creativity isn't about talent. It's about expression. About leaving something behind. About reminding yourself that you are still capable of beauty, even in small ways. And if you've never considered yourself creative, now is the perfect time to start. Because creativity isn't for the young. It's for the living. And you are very much alive. Practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Mindfulness is the practice of being present, even in the smallest moments. It means noticing the warmth of your coffee in your hands. It means listening to the sound of rain. It means pausing before you speak and before you react. And gratitude is the practice of seeing what's good, even when life feels hard. Each day, find something to be grateful for. Maybe it's the smell of fresh bread. Maybe it's a letter from a grandchild. Maybe it's the way the light hits the floor in the morning. Gratitude changes how we see the world. It shifts our focus from what's missing to what's still here. And that shift can be powerful. Because when you live alone, your mindset shapes your reality. So choose to see the good, even when it's small. Because small joys add up to a life well lived. Volunteering, giving purpose to your days. Volunteering is one of the most fulfilling things you can do, even if you live alone. Helping others gives your days meaning. It connects you to the world. It reminds you that you still have value to offer. You don't have to do big things. You can visit nursing homes or hospitals. Help at a library or school. Mentor someone younger. Read to children at a community center. Help organize donations. Plant flowers in a public park. Giving back doesn't require strength, just a willing heart. And in giving, you receive joy, belonging, purpose. And those are the things that keep loneliness at bay. Keeping your mind sharp. Keeping your mind active is just as important as keeping your body strong. Puzzles, crosswords, memory games, all of these help keep your brain agile. You can also try learning a new language, taking a course, online or in person. Writing your life story, not for publication, but for yourself and your family. Mental stimulation prevents boredom, and boredom can feed loneliness. So keep your brain engaged. Keep your curiosity alive. Because wisdom doesn't stop growing, even at 80. Listening to your health needs. Living alone means you must be extra attentive to your health. Pay attention to your body. Know your medications. Stay in touch with your doctor. If mobility becomes an issue, consider a personal emergency response system so you feel safe in your home. Also, don't ignore signs of fatigue, pain, or confusion. Talk to your doctor. Ask for help when needed. Because living alone doesn't mean living without support. It means living with awareness and taking steps to keep yourself safe and healthy. Asking for help without shame. One of the bravest things you can do, especially when living alone, is to ask for help. If you struggle with daily tasks, consider hiring a caregiver for certain hours. If you feel isolated, ask a neighbor to check in on you. If you need help around the house, reach out to a family member or local service. Asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's self-care. It's courage. And it's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. Because living alone doesn't mean living without support. It means living with dignity and getting the help you deserve. Staying social, even if it feels hard. Socializing can feel harder as you age, especially if you live alone. But social connection is one of the best ways to fight loneliness. So find ways to engage with others, even if it's small. Call someone each week. Join a group at your local senior center. Attend a religious gathering. Say hello to the mail carrier or grocery clerk. These small interactions matter. They keep you connected. They remind you that you are still part of the world. And they bring warmth to your heart, even on the quietest day. Building a daily routine that brings peace. Having a routine gives your day shape, and that's incredibly comforting when you live alone. Wake up at the same time. Have a morning ritual, tea, stretching, prayer, journaling. Plan your meals. Set small goals, folding laundry, watering plants, reading a chapter. Routine doesn't mean rigidity, it means stability. It means knowing what to expect, which brings peace to your heart. And peace is one of the greatest luxuries of age. So create a daily rhythm that supports you and follow it with grace. Because living alone doesn't mean living without structure. It means living with intention. Breathing deeply, even when life feels heavy. There will be days when living alone feels hard. Days when the silence feels heavy. Days when loneliness sneaks in quietly. Days when you wonder if anyone still sees you. On those days, don't push through. Instead, pause. Breathe deeply. Light a candle. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Speak kindly to yourself. Remind yourself that you are not alone, even if you're the only one in the room. Because loneliness is not the same as being alone. Loneliness is a feeling. Being alone is a state of being. And with time, you can learn to live alone without feeling lonely. Waking up with purpose. Getting out of bed can feel harder when you live alone. There's no one waiting for breakfast. No one asking how you slept. No one calling your name. But that doesn't mean your day lacks meaning. Waking up with purpose doesn't require a crowd. It just requires a reason. Maybe it's feeding the cat. Maybe it's watering the plants. Maybe it's writing a letter to a friend. Maybe it's simply choosing to live, even on quiet days. Every morning is a gift, even if it feels small. So rise, not because you have to. Rise because you want to. Because you still have something to offer the world. And the world still has something to offer you, knowing when to reach out. Living alone doesn't mean you have to stay silent. If you feel overwhelmed, don't wait to reach out. Call a friend. Talk to a neighbor. Share your feelings with a counselor or spiritual guide. You don't have to carry the weight alone. And reaching out is not a failure. It's strength. It's self-awareness. It's healing. So if you're struggling, even just a little, don't suffer in silence. Tell someone. Ask for support. Allow yourself to be held. Because you are not a burden. You are a human being, worthy of love and care. Growing something, even if you live alone. Caring for something, even small, brings meaning to your days. Plant a flower. Grow herbs on your windowsill. Water a plant every morning. Watching something grow reminds you that life continues, even in quiet places. And tending to a living thing gives you a reason to get up and a reason to smile. Because growth is beautiful. And you are still part of that beauty. So grow something, even if it's just a single rosemary bush in a pot. It will remind you that you are still nurturing life, even in solitude. Planning things to look forward to. Living alone doesn't mean your calendar has to be empty. Fill it with small, meaningful plans, a visit from a grandchild. A monthly outing with a friend. A book club meeting. A trip to a museum or nature trail. A birthday card to send. A recipe to try. having something to look forward to, no matter how small, gives your days direction. It gives you something to prepare for, something to smile about, something to count down to. And that anticipation, that gentle excitement, is a powerful antidote to loneliness. So plan ahead, even if it's just a phone call or a movie night. Because looking forward to something, anything, keeps your heart alive. Saying "I need you" without fear. One of the most difficult things to say, especially when you've spent a lifetime caring for others, is "I need you." But saying those words is not weakness. It's love. It's trust. It's courage. So if you live alone and feel lonely, reach out. Say, "I miss you. Can we talk soon? I'd love to see you. I'm feeling lonely and I could really use a visit." Those words may feel hard to say, but they are worth saying. Because connection doesn't have to be lost just because you live alone. It just needs to be invited. And sometimes, that invitation starts with a single sentence, accepting silence and filling it wisely. Silence is not always lonely. Sometimes, it's sacred. It's the space where you can hear your own thoughts, where you can reflect, where you can feel the presence of God, or the universe, or your own soul. But silence shouldn't be the only thing you hear. Balance is key. Fill your home with soft music, with audiobooks, with the hum of life, even if it's just in the background. Because the human heart thrives on sound and on presence. And when you live alone, presence can come in many forms. Understanding that living alone is a gift, not a sentence. Living alone doesn't have to be lonely. It can be a gift, a chance to live on your terms. A chance to be quiet when you need to. A chance to choose how you spend your time. You can decide when to rest, when to speak, when to be still. You can wear what you want, eat when you want, live at your own pace. And that kind of freedom, after decades of caring for others, can be deeply healing. So don't see living alone as something to endure. See it as something to embrace, with grace, wisdom, and care. Because you are not alone. You are simply alone, for now. And there's a difference, making time for rest, without guilt. Living alone means you can rest, without guilt. You don't have to explain why you stayed in bed a little longer. You don't have to apologize for needing a nap. You don't have to justify your quiet. Rest is not laziness. It's healing. It's wisdom. So allow yourself to slow down. Allow yourself to sit. Allow yourself to breathe. Because living alone doesn't mean rushing through life. It means living fully, at your own pace. And that is a privilege, not a punishment. Letting others in, even if you live alone. Just because you live alone doesn't mean you have to live in isolation. Invite people in, even for short visits. Let a neighbor drop by. Ask a friend to share tea. Accept offers to ride along to appointments. Say yes to invitations, even if you feel tired. Being alone is different from being alone all the time. And allowing others in, even briefly, can bring unexpected joy. Because connection doesn't always need to be deep. Sometimes, it just needs to be real. And even small moments of shared time can lift your heart, creating a spiritual practice. For many people, spirituality is a quiet anchor, especially when living alone. Prayer, meditation, reading sacred texts, journaling your thoughts, listening to calming music. These practices remind you that you are not alone, even when you are by yourself. Spirituality doesn't have to be religion. It can be nature. It can be gratitude. It can be simply recognizing the miracle of being alive. And that recognition, that awareness, is enough to fill your heart with peace. So find your own way to connect with something greater than yourself. It might be the stars. It might be the sunrise. It might be a simple moment of silence before bedtime. Whatever it is, let it be yours. Because spirituality is one of the deepest forms of companionship, even when you're alone. Being there for others, even if you live alone. Living alone doesn't mean you stop giving love. You can still be there for others, even from a distance. Send a letter. Call a friend who hasn't heard from you in a while. Check in on a neighbor. Offer advice to a younger person who looks up to you. Being needed is one of the most powerful feelings in life. And even if you live alone, you are still needed. By someone. By many. By the world. So keep offering your love in whatever way you can. Because giving doesn't stop when you live alone. It just takes a new form. And that form is still valuable. Healing from past loss. If you live alone now because someone passed away, a spouse, a sibling, a close friend, your heart carries that absence. And that's okay. Grief doesn't vanish just because life goes on. It lingers, softly, painfully, reminding you of what once was. But healing is possible. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to carry the memory with you without letting it weigh you down. Talk to someone. Write letters you'll never send. Light a candle in their honor. Celebrate their life on special days. And allow yourself to grieve, gently, honestly, and with love. Because healing is not a race. It's a journey. And you're not wrong for needing time, remembering that you still matter. One of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves when we live alone is, no one really needs me anymore. But nothing could be further from the truth. You still matter. Your presence still holds value. Your voice still carries weight. Someone misses your stories. Someone treasures your advice. Someone loves you, even if they don't say it often. And even if you live alone, you are not unloved. You are simply loved from a distance. And love doesn't disappear just because it's quieter now. It waits, in letters, in memories, in hearts that hold you close, even from afar. So never doubt that you still matter. Because you do. Deeply. Quietly. Powerfully. Aging isn't about shrinking, it's about expanding. Living alone after 80 doesn't mean shrinking into the background of life. It means expanding into deeper understanding, into slower living, into gentler breathing. It means learning to be with yourself and discovering that you are enough. You are not less because you live alone. You are not forgotten. You are not irrelevant. You are still you, wise, kind, resilient. And your presence, even in solitude, still shapes the world. Because you are not just existing. You are living. And that is beautiful, knowing when to let go of expectations. Sometimes, loneliness comes not from being alone, but from expecting more than what's possible. Maybe you hoped for more visits. Maybe you expected your children to call more often. Maybe you hoped for a romantic partner to reappear. But life doesn't always give us what we hope for. And that's hard. But learning to let go of expectations, not bitterness, can bring peace. Because letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing peace. Choosing happiness. Choosing to live well, even if life isn't what you imagined. So release what you hoped for. And open your arms to what is. Because what is still beautiful. Reclaiming your identity beyond being someone's parent. For most of your life, you were known as someone's parent. Someone's child. Someone's spouse. But when those roles change, when you live alone, it can feel like you've lost part of who you are. But here's a truth many don't speak aloud. You are not defined by your relationships. You are a person. A storyteller. A survivor. A teacher. A lover of life. And living alone gives you the space to remember who you are, beyond the roles you once played. So take this time to rediscover yourself. To ask, who am I now? Because the answer might surprise you. And that discovery, that quiet rediscovery, is one of the most powerful gifts of living alone. Finding joy in small moments. Living alone doesn't mean you stop enjoying life. You can still find joy in the little things. Like watching a sunset. Hearing a song you used to dance to. seeing a bird land on your windowsill, smelling fresh bread baking, feeling the warmth of a blanket on a cold morning. These moments may seem small, but they aren't. They are proof that life still holds beauty. That joy still finds you, even in quiet places. So pay attention to them. Let them fill your heart. Let them remind you that you are still here, still present, still alive, and still able to smile. Learning to breathe again. Living alone after 80 can feel like learning to breathe again in a new rhythm. You're no longer sharing your days with someone else. No one wakes up beside you. No one shares your meals. But that doesn't mean you can't breathe deeply. In fact, this stage of life can teach you to breathe in a new way, with more awareness, more appreciation, more stillness. So take your time. Breathe. Live. Because you still have breath, and with it, you still have life. And that life is still worth living, beautifully, peacefully, and with purpose. Passing down wisdom, even if you live alone. Living alone doesn't mean you stop influencing the world. Your wisdom is still needed. Your stories still matter. Your lessons still echo. And even if you live alone, you can still pass down what you've learned. Write letters. Record videos. Talk to younger generations. Share your journey, even if it's just with one person. Because legacy isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in quiet moments, when someone listens to what you have to say. And that act of passing on what you've learned is one of the most powerful ways to feel connected, even when you live alone. Finding inner peace, one day at a time. Peace doesn't come all at once. It arrives in small waves, like the tide. Some days, you'll feel strong. Other days, you'll feel fragile. And that's okay. Living alone after 80 is a journey, not a destination. And on that journey, peace is the compass. So take it slow. Be patient with yourself. Let healing unfold, gently, naturally. Because inner peace isn't something you force. It's something you invite. And when you do, it arrives. Not with fanfare, but with quiet certainty. And that's enough. You are still loved, even if you live alone. You may not hear it often. You may not feel it every day. But you are still loved. By God. By the universe. By the people who know your heart, even if they're far away. Love doesn't disappear just because someone is busy. It just takes different forms. A phone call. A text. A photo sent through email. A visit that feels too short. And even if those moments are few, they still carry love. Because love isn't measured in frequency. It's measured in depth. And the love you've given, and continue to give, runs deep. Finding freedom in solitude. Living alone gives you something rare, freedom. Freedom to live how you want. Freedom to be honest with yourself. Freedom to move at your own pace. You can eat when you want. Dress how you want. Sleep in or rise early without explanation. You can live without compromise, without apology. And that freedom, that ability to be fully yourself, is a rare gift. So don't mourn the noise of life. Embrace the quiet. Because in that quiet, you'll find yourself again. And that self, that older, wiser, kinder version of you, is still worth celebrating. Being a grandparent, even from afar. If you're a grandparent, living alone doesn't mean you're not part of your grandchildren's lives. You can still be the one they call for advice. The one they write to. The one they visit when they can. And even if you live far away, you can still be part of their world. Send them letters. Tell them stories. Encourage them. Show them love, even across miles. Because being a grandparent is not about proximity. It's about presence. And your presence, even from a distance, still shapes their lives. So keep showing up, with love, with wisdom, with joy. Because they still need you, even if they don't say it often. Learning to be alone, without feeling lonely. Aloneness and loneliness are not the same. Aloneness is a choice or a circumstance that you learn to live with. Loneliness is a feeling, one that creeps in quietly. So how do you live alone and stay free from loneliness? By filling your alone time with things that bring you peace. By speaking to yourself with kindness. By staying connected to the world around you. And by realizing that being alone doesn't mean being forgotten. You are not forgotten. You are simply living a quieter life. And that life can still be full, saying goodbye to comparison. Sometimes, loneliness comes not from being alone, but from comparing your life to others. You see families together. You see people laughing, traveling, holding hands. And you wonder, will I ever feel that again? But comparison steals joy. And joy is something you still deserve. So let go of comparing your life to others. Let go of measuring your worth by what you lack. Because your life, your quiet, gentle, meaningful life, is still beautiful. And it still counts. More than you know. Living with intention, even in solitude. Living alone gives you the chance to live with intention. To choose what fills your days. To decide what brings you peace. To create a life that reflects who you are, not who you used to be. So live with purpose. Wake up with meaning. Go to bed with gratitude. Because living alone after 80 doesn't mean living without joy. It means living with the wisdom to appreciate the small things. It means living with the strength to face silence and still find peace. And that is a life well lived. Dear viewer, living alone after 80 doesn't mean your life is ending. It means it's changing. And change, even late in life, can bring beauty, purpose, and peace. You are not alone, not truly. You are simply living in a new way. And that's okay. You are still loved. You are still needed. You are still valued. And most of all, you are still allowed to be happy. So take care of yourself. Nurture your heart. Build a life that feels meaningful, even if it's quiet. Because joy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. In the morning light. In the rustle of leaves. In the taste of tea. In the pages of a book. In the voice of someone who calls just to say hello. That is still life. That is still love. And that is still happiness. Thank you for being here today. If this video brought you comfort or clarity, please leave a comment below, sharing one thing that helps you feel connected, even when you live alone. And if you found value in this content, please click the bell and subscribe. There's much more to come, videos filled with warmth, wisdom, and real-life guidance for life after 60. Until next time, live gently. Move slowly. Breathe deeply. You are unique. And you deserve to live with health, dignity, and joy. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing one thing that helps you feel connected, even when you live alone. Your experience might bring comfort to someone else who feels unseen. And if this video spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss another moment of healing, learning, and connection. Until next time, take care of your heart. You are seen. You are loved. You are still here. See you soon.